We are talking about all types of factoring, and right now we're using special product patterns to factor polynomials. And the first thing we want to look for is any common factors that we have between these four terms. So we have a c squared and a d. Now if you look at the second term, there's a 4 and a c squared, but there's no d, so the d is definitely not a common term. We have a c and we have a c. So what we notice is all of these four terms, they all have at least one c in them. So we can divide them all by c and we can factor the c out. So the c comes out front, and we have c squared multiplied by d divided by c. C and two c's, we're left with one c in the numerator. Minus, we don't have any constants, so we'll just bring the 4 down. C squared divided by c, we just have one c left in the numerator. We have one c in the numerator, one c in the denominator, they cancel, and we're left with just d squared. And the 4 comes down, the c and the c cancel, and we're left with just d. And now we want to look and see if we could factor this by grouping. And because we have four terms, we want to look to factor by grouping. So we'll make two groups. We have the first group and we have the second group. Okay. What is common between the first two terms here? We have c and c, so we're going to factor a c out. So we still have the c out front. Now we're taking a c out. So the c comes out of this one. What is left? Just the d. The c comes out of this second term. What's left? Just the 4. So what we did was we took this first term and we just factored our c out. Now the next one, we have d squared and d. What's common between them?
D.
The d. So we're going to factor a d out. So d squared divided by d, we're left with d. And negative 4d divided by d, we're left with just negative 4. Now hopefully we notice at this point that we have a d minus 4 and a d minus 4. Those are common. So right here, if we look up here, we have two terms. We have cd minus 4c. We notice that there's a c in common, so we pulled the c out front and then rewrote what was left. This is the exact same thing except for pulling out a binomial. So our c constant comes out front because that has always been there. Now, between these two terms, we have a d minus 4 that's common between both. So we're going to pull the d minus 4 out. If we take a d minus 4 out of this first term, what's left? Just the c is the only thing left. So we're going to be left with a c. Then we still have our plus sign. If we take the d minus 4 out of the second term, then we're just left with d. So we'll write our d down. And then that will be the solution in factored form, where we factored the d minus 4 out, and we use grouping in order to do that.